Hello, and welcome to my brand new podcast. Is This a Safe Space? Crazy name to pick for a girl that currently has a lisp because of Invisalign. I really just feel like I have a lot to say and not a lot of platforms to say it on. So I decided to join the ranks of people that have microphones and cameras and decide to start a podcast. Yes, I do technically have a podcast already, but that one focuses a lot on other people. And I wanted a place where I could connect with you guys and just, talk about my experiences and what I'm going through in a way where I can overshare, but also edit out the parts that I probably shouldn't be saying on the internet because I have a really bad habit of doing that live on my streams. As some of you may or may not know, I recently moved to LA. I did 1 month in my friend's room, and during that month, I basically decided that I was going to stay out here and I was no longer going to live in the Bay Area. So I just wanted to talk about my experience with that. Gosh, where do we start? Let's go back to college. Mind you, I'm 26. I've been graduated from college for 5 years now. Wow, holy unk. Wow. Wow, didn't like that calculation. I graduated from college back in 2021, so it's been a while, but whenever I was in college, one of my big goals, big dreams was to move to Los Angeles. I work in the film industry and I love filmmaking. I love my people. A lot of my people actually live here in LA, which has been nice for the transition. But whenever I was in college, I was like, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to live. Then in 2020 or 2021, I met this guy and I had a little crush on him and then ultimately ended up loving him, falling in love with him, blah, 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 the whole thing. And I moved in with him in a city that I did not have any kind of interest in or any knowledge on prior. I will say, no hate to this guy. He did actually say I should move to LA and not to the Bay Area because he didn't want me to resent him in the long run. But we will have a deeper discussion on that relationship, I'm sure, a much, much, much later day. I decided to move to the Bay Area to be with him, and I was there for a lot of years up until I just made the move to LA. And in that time, I would say I needed to be there. I think it was a very good space for me to heal because I had some things that happened to me at the end of college that were just, wait, I can talk about it because it's a podcast. I'm allowed to talk about it because it doesn't have to be short. I can say whatever I want. Wait, this is the best day ever. I love this shit. At the end of college, I was a victim of an attempted kidnapping. A lot of people know this already. I'm very healed from it. Basically, I came home. I was walking home from the store at nighttime, and a man drove up behind me, got out of his car, tackled and tased me, and tried to get me into his car. Ultimately, he failed. I did manage to get his license plate and get him arrested, so have no fear. He is in jail for the next, I believe he still has like 10 more years on his sentence, which is pretty sick. After that, I really couldn't imagine living in the city. Like, that was not what I wanted, Because what's one thing you know about LA, bitch? There's crime everywhere. There is always someone getting slimed in these streets, bro. I wish that there was like a more eloquent way to say it, but no, like cities are dangerous and the crime is quite spread out in Los Angeles. There are very few places where you will see like minimal to no crime in the city. I wasn't really upset about living in the Bay Area for a long time because I think I needed to be there at that time in my life and it was very healthy for me. It was a safe area, it was quiet, it was walkable, I work from home, so it was very flexible for me to recover on my own time. And I do think that for a while, that is what I needed. But I think after I healed and I recognized that I was better, I started feeling like I was living in complacency day to day. And as I fell more in love with content and I wanted to get back into filmmaking because there's not like a film industry at all in the Bay Area. Like I don't really know anyone that lived out there that did filmmaking. And mind you, I did not live in San Francisco. I lived south of San Fran by like 2 hours. Even events that took place in San Francisco weren't readily accessible to me. I didn't have a car for like I want to say a couple of years or at least one whole year, but I want to say 2 years. So it was really hard for me to get around. It was hard for me to meet people, but ultimately it was a really good place to recover. I was able to go to the beach and sit with my thoughts and reflect. I did a lot of therapy during that time. Yeah, once I came out of it and realized how complacent I was with my life and my lifestyle, that's when I started getting unsatisfied. And then I started feeling like I needed change. Mind you, from 18 to I want to say 22, I moved every single year. Even if I lived in the same city, I moved. So I'm someone who really enjoys new places. That's something that I feel like I need at this point in my life is change and different environments in order to meet people, have new experiences, blah, blah, blah. That is something that I really enjoy. I like moving around. I don't think I really had the thought of moving anywhere else. I just kind of knew that I wasn't fully happy where I was. And I was looking for other places to stay in the area, at least close by, because I was like, okay, I need a change. Never found anything that was great. It's hard to find places out there. Then we jump forward to May of 2025, which, if you know anything about my timeline as a creator, was Streamer University. And during that time, my entire life changed. I was meeting people that were like minded. I was traveling. I was moving around a lot. I was collabing. I was hearing people's stories. I was posting. I was grinding. And I was also missing out on opportunities because of where I lived. That was the first like catalyst. I say that's like the catalyst that happened. And I was like, oh, I am missing out on stuff. And ultimately, my friend called me one night whenever I was drunk and she was like, you gotta move to LA. And I was like, huh? And she's like, you gotta move to LA. And I was like, you're so right. I have to move to LA. So literally my friend Catalixia called me while I was drunk streaming one day and she was like, you gotta move to LA. And I basically took that and I was like, yes, I do have to move to LA. And luckily I have the best friends in the entire world. One of them, Emily CC, look her up. She's pretty cool. Emily CC, she calls me and is like, hey, you're thinking about moving to LA, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about moving to LA. And she was like, well, I have a room out there and I'm not moved in yet. I probably won't be moved in until the second month of the new year. Do you want to stay in my room for January? Just give it a whirl. See how you like it. See how you like the city. And I was like, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I love you. So I packed up my car to the brim and I drove 6 hours from the Bay Area to Los Angeles, California. I remember my friend Kat made fun of me for how much stuff I brought to the apartment. But for me, I was like, well, the reason I'm bringing so much stuff is because I want to live here. I'm a big manifester, okay? If you don't believe in it, then I don't know, grow up or something. I'm kidding. No, but I am a big manifester. And by bringing so much stuff, I brought my entire PC setup. I brought my figurines. I brought my favorite cup. Like, I brought so much stuff. And by doing that, I was telling myself, I'm not packing this back up in my car and driving 6 hours. I'm driving it down the street. I don't care. Like, I was set at that point. I was like, I need to live in Los Angeles. And I hadn't even done like the month there yet because really I was doing the month to see if I really liked it out there. But I think deep down, I knew that this was the place for me. And that really came to light whenever I was there because even though I didn't go out all that much, I felt so comfortable doing everything. Like it felt like I had been unleashed. And I feel like one of the biggest signs of, wow, I needed this is when everyone that you speak to goes, huh, you look happier. And I feel like that was the most insane thing to hear from people was that I looked happier because I did feel happier, but I also had this immense guilt about, I guess, leaving behind the people and the place that essentially nursed me back to health whenever I needed it the most. And I feel like that is the hardest part about being here. I know that people and places serve their purpose in your life, but I feel so bad not being more attached to where I was. And I know that's just kind of life. I know that you grow out of things. I know that you move past things, but I hold so much guilt. And I said this whenever my partner and I broke up. I was like, I feel guilty because like it just feels like I'm no longer the version of myself that you want, and I feel like you're not the version of yourself that I want because of all of these changes that have happened so rapidly. I realized that LA was just kind of my spot. And I have never signed a lease so quickly, mind you. Dude, the process of looking for an apartment in LA, wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy ever. This shit sucks. Because one, everything goes so fast because everybody wants to live in LA. Another thing is, you'll look online and a place looks so nice, right? And especially if you're not from here, there were so many places I was like, oh my God, this place looks so nice. Love it. Love the area. And then I actually got flown out to Los Angeles by HyperX. Shout out HyperX. I love you guys. They flew me out for the Streamer Awards hosted by Cutie Cinderella. And on my way to my hotel, I drove on the street. I mean, talk about divine intervention. I drove on the street where like I had 10 apartments or something. Okay, I'm being a little bit dramatic. It's like 3 apartments, but whatever. It was like apartments that I was actively looking at, right? They were in the worst neighborhood I've ever seen in my life. And I lived in Dallas, Texas, baby. Like I've seen some shit. I lived in Dallas. I've lived in Houston too. But my goodness, that street, I'll never forget it. I was like, nah. I screenshotted my maps while I was in the Uber, circled it, and said no, and sent it to the group chat of people that I was planning on living with at that time. And oh my gosh, it was so funny. But yeah, I was like, I can't live here. So being from out of town, not knowing the safe areas, not understanding how quickly things go, and also not even having all of the roommates set in stone, that was fun. Like, me and my friend Sabrina were like, we want to live in LA. We're making this happen. And so we reach out to one of her friends and is like, hey, you want to live with us? He's like, yeah, I'm down. We didn't have a fourth person. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'll pay for 2 rooms because I was so desperate to get my hands on a spot because I was like, I can't move back there, bro. I knew I couldn't move back to the Bay Area. I knew damn well that wasn't my place. I knew I was going to be miserable if I went back. And I knew that all I was going to be thinking about is, oh my God, I wish I was in LA right now. I knew it, right? So I was like, fuck it. Let's get a place with the 3 of us. I'll pay for the 4th bedroom, or we'll find a 3-bedroom that's in budget. I don't care. Let's find a spot. So we find a spot. We sign on. We luckily did get the first place that we properly applied to, which thank goodness. But whenever we got in, I was like, I don't need 2 rooms. And this is how the 4th roommate of the crib came to be. You might know him as one of my best friends. J-Bro also draws. I literally texted him and I was like, ooh, you want to move in with me so bad in LA. Mind you, this man lives in Texas with his family. Like there is no cheaper setup that you can have than living in like Texas with your family. Well, okay, I guess like places like Ohio exist. I feel like Ohio is pretty cheap. I've never lived there, but like Idaho, I feel like places like that are really cheap. But you know what I mean. Whenever you get to live with your family, oh my god. I was so rich back then, bro. I was so rich back then. Oh, I miss Texas bills so bad. He was living in Texas with his family, and I'm asking him to move to one of the most notorious expensive places that I could possibly think of. Last minute. Like I'm asking him to move in a month. And he was like, mm, fuck it. And that's why I love my friends because I really do surround myself with people that are like, "Mm, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it." But yeah, that's basically the story of how I ended up in LA. I feel like I feel like it was such a whirlwind, but it was truly one of those things where everything worked out so well that all signs pointed to yes, you should be here. I'll never question when life works out like that for me because the fact that I have had all the opportunities that I've had and have gotten so incredibly lucky to have the community that I have out here. Because, like, let's be honest, you hear so many things, notorious things about LA, and a lot of them are not wrong. A lot of them are not inaccurate. Like, I've had people that I've met one day just like air me out completely the next day. I've had friends treat me weird around people because they have big social media numbers. Like, LA is quite interesting. It feels like a bubble, like a little fish tank, not for the faint of heart. I'm very excited to see how I change as a person out here because let's be honest, you cannot live in really any major city and actually experience the city and what it has to offer without changing yourself. Not like saying that I'm going to change for the worse. I might change. I might just become the best. Might become the best person ever, baby. Like, you really don't know. But I feel like change is inevitable. And I've changed more in the last 5 months of my life than I think I have in the last 5 years of my life, which is really crazy to think about because I have a lot of these thoughts of how much better would I be as a person and creator if I wasn't confined to an area that I did not love for so long. But also, I feel like that is just me being hyper aware of how successful people that are younger than me are and directly comparing myself to people that I have no business comparing myself to. But yeah, this is a fun little chat. I feel like I just wanted to talk about like why I moved to LA, how I got out here, blase blase, because it is incredibly fun. With this move, I have learned something that's really big, and it is do not wait for permission from other people to do the things that you want to do. It doesn't matter if it's moving, if it's starting content, if it's quitting your job and starting a new one. Be responsible, please. Please be responsible, please. I feel like far too often we're waiting for the perfect moment. We're waiting for permission, and that is just never going to line up for you. Like, it's so easy to come up with excuses to not do things. It's interesting that the things that we want the most, we almost try to talk ourselves out of. And I think I did that to myself for a long time. So, if I have any words of encouragement for anyone, it is please do that thing that you want to do, especially because, oh my God, like, I'm so young. Being on the internet has also like skewed my perspective of my age. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm so old. I'm unk. But then I realize like I'm 26. I have a full-time job. I get to do content for fun and I have a dog. Like that is my dog is my baby. She's my biggest expense. I just need us as especially young women, especially young black women, like we have never had a more perfect time in our lives to take risks. My parents worked too damn hard for me to live somewhere that I don't like, with a job that I don't enjoy, around people that don't support me the way I need them to support me. And and it's like, why would I nerf my own life experience because I think that things could get better? But that's also what I tell my friends all the time is if it's not working now, why are you not taking the risk to see if something else will? And that is what I tell them about their content, but I think you can apply it to your day-to-day life as well. If something isn't working and you're not hitting the goals that you want to hit, why are we repeating the loop that we know is not working out of fear of something new not working as well? I want to get into this too. Ugh, there are so many topics I want to talk to you guys about, but I'm trying to stick to the LA topic. But I think that's all I have to say about LA for now. This was fun. Thank you guys so much for joining me on my yap session about how I got to LA and my LA arc. I'm really excited for more episodes to come, and I have some good news. Episodes will be coming out every single week, baby. I got a lot to talk about, and there's a lot happening in the world. And also, I need a place to overshare on the internet, like I said. Goodbye, my cutie patootie butts. I'll see you again next week with another episode of Is This a Safe Space? Bye.